Welcome to Maverick Approach. Maverick here once again, you guys. And of course, we have Devon True.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yes. And we have a special guest today. We're going to be talking some tech, talking some cybersecurity, crypto, all kind of stuff, AI. You guys know I'm a big nerd when it comes to this stuff. So I'm super excited about this. So we have Justin Reinmuth.
Yeah, close. Reinmuth.
Reinmuth.
You just said it.
I just said it.
You forgot
it's
that
a hard
fast.
one.
Hey, don't worry, it's a tough name.
Okay.
I've been called worse.
Okay, got you. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. How was the trip down here?
It was good. It was, it's always nice coming out to the West Coast because you get the benefit of a 3-hour difference.
Right,
in a positive
right.
way, so.
And then you're from the Midwest, right?
I am Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Great place to live. I don't know it's a destination, but great place to live.
I've only flown through there. I've never actually stopped and kind of like checked it out and whatnot.
I mean, again, it's a great place to raise a family, but I don't know that it's a tourist destination.
not
Especially in Vegas. Yeah, especially in Vegas.
Yeah. What's Ohio known for? Not to throw shade.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just trying to what's up with
got
Ohio?
LeBron there.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
LeBron. There we go.
LeBron.
Akron. Shout out to
Yeah.
Akron.
You got it.
Yeah.
What about, do you guys like roller coasters?
Yeah.
Amusement parks, Kings Island and Cedar Point.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So it's
Cincinnati and, up north, so.
I've been meaning to do something. This has nothing to do with tech, but I wanted to do like a tour around the U.S. and go to all the amusement parks and kind of do a review because I love amusement parks. So
definitely.
that'd be cool.
yeah.
They say
So that'll be a spot.
Yeah, Kings Island, Cedar Point.
Okay, got
Two
you.
of the great ones.
Noted. So
Shout out to Ohio.
shout out to
I was going to say,
Ohio.
you guys football fans?
I don't.
I mean, just
watch-
Ohio State, Texas, big game this weekend.
We don't
at the
we,
Horseshoe.
We used to watch sports. We don't watch sports anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't really have time, but
Yeah.
I was going through the airport and it was a lot of UT shirts were invading Columbus, Ohio. So
Right, for sure.
big game this weekend.
Yeah. So your company Techrug.
Yes.
So what does that stand for? I know that's a acronym for something.
Yeah, great question. Technology Risk Underwriting Group.
So what do you guys do exactly?
So we are actually a cover holder in Lloyds of London. So kind of high level, it's really like most insurance agencies or agents rep a product, and we control the underwriting and the distribution for a syndicate in Lloyds of London, Hamilton Insurance.
Got you.
Yeah.
So how did you start this company? Like what made you want to do this?
Yeah, I had an IT background. After graduating Ohio State, I went down to Dallas, Texas, got involved in IT pre-Y2K when the world was going to blow up, and then it didn't. And then after Y2K, a lot of the companies, I had 2 large clients that decided that they were going to take a lot of their IT offshore. And so I had 2 partners that did not want to go that direction. And, I learned at a young age that, diversification, because when you have 98% of your business and 2 clients, you don't get much for it. So, I sat around and, I was making fairly good money, and I had an opportunity to go into corporate and decided to take a chance on myself. So went back to Columbus, Ohio, and got involved in insurance. And for the first couple of years, I did landscapers, bakeries, homes, auto, probably similar to most people do in terms of general insurance.
Right.
And it just wasn't fulfilling. And I was sitting down with a client, it was about 2008, and he's still a client today, and he said, "Hey, Justin, you know a lot of these programming languages. Is this something you specialize?" And so I started, thinking to myself, okay, with my IT background in insurance, no one's really doing this.
Right.
And at that time, Maverick, premiums were nothing. All my buddies were laughing, like, what are you doing?
Right.
But I started reading where the hardware providers really dictate how we're going to consume IT services.
Right.
So we actually had the cloud back in, a while ago called ASP, Application Service Provider. And then that wasn't good enough, so we went to break fix, where a server was in your office. And then that wasn't convenient, so we went to the cloud, which was a version of the ASP. And if history is any indication of the future, we're going to go to some sort of break fix because the cloud won't be as secure in the next, maybe.
So
10,
that's what you
15
think.
years.
So you think that in the near future, when it comes to storage for clouds, like that's gonna go away?
I think it's going to be. We have so many clients now that prefer to write checks instead of, doing EFT or some things like that, because with us, cyber crime is just rampant. People don't trust emails anymore.
Through the roof.
They don't trust emails anymore.
Yeah. So I've seen so much cybersecurity like breaches in the last 12 months. It's just insane. Like with TransUnion, they just had a breach. Even right now, what's happening in Nevada. So what's going on right now with a lot of people don't know is that there's a massive outage going on right now. I don't know if you heard about that. So here's what's going on. So with the DMV, the post office, Like numerous institutions right now are completely down because there's a cyber hack going on right now. And the DMV isn't open right now out here in Nevada. There's the post office. A lot of post offices are down. And they're saying that they're trying to keep it under wraps, but I think it's bigger than what they're putting off because I think this is like the third or fourth day that it's completely down.
Yeah.
Like we tried to go to the DMV the other day and they're like, it's closed.
Yeah.
So are we seeing something on a major scale? Because if you remember not too long ago,
Casinos here.
the casinos got hacked.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that rant, they never
I don't think they caught
those
him.
guys.
They didn't catch him.
They never caught them.
Nope.
They got millions of dollars. They're like, hey, we'll turn on the games again.
Yeah.
Pay this ransom. And
Actually, I think there was two. One of them paid, and the other one didn't, and it was like 5x for the one that didn't pay.
Yeah.
What they spent.
And the casinos are really in trouble right now because tourism is down. Right now they have $13 for a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
$26 for a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Like this is what's going on right now. Like right now, Caesars Entertainment, they don't own the land that they're on, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're paying $6.4 million a day in interest.
Wow.
So because they take out these massive loans to these private equity companies.
Yeah.
And that's what like Blackstone, VC, all these big like firms, they own a lot of the land on the strip.
Okay.
So what's happening right now is that they're like have to pay these premiums because they took out these massive loans, and then now everything is just the economy's not great right now.
Right.
So they have to charge these like crazy resort fees and all this other stuff is going on, and it just trickles down to the consumer.
So that's why my hamburger is $30.
Oh my God, you paid
Was it really?
Almost.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
Where was
crazy.
this? So we know not to go.
That's all on the strip though.
Oh, yeah, it
Was
was
that-
on the strip. It
Oh,
was
of
on the
course,
strip.
of course it
Yeah,
was.
you know?
But
Of
that's what I
course.
mean, though. Like that's
Oh, yeah.
insane. So I think that is a telltale sign of kind of like what's going on behind the closed doors when it comes to, especially with cybersecurity. Like that's a massive, massive. Like they don't know. Like the public doesn't know like what's going on behind closed doors. They could be paying these ransoms like left and right, taking hits.
Well, and I think most people don't understand is that these ransomware events and cybercrime, I mean, it really started in 2020. So what, we're 5 years into it?
Right.
I mean, how much can you really learn in 5 years? You know, I
Right.
think the industry's slowly getting there. But, one of the reasons that I started Techrug was I saw a flaw in the underwriting model. So I decided to go in 2015 and talk to the bad guys that could teach me how they get in. No one else would do that. Everyone else was relying on an insurance underwriter on the 38th floor in New York City to tell them.
Right.
And I thought to myself, okay, this needs to be trust but verify. Everyone just trusts, but there's no verify. So when we would ask certain questions, are you doing X and Y? They would interpret X and Y differently than we did when we asked for verification or artifacts.
Right.
So that's really what drove me, is because I just saw a lack of standardization.
Right.
We also saw that no one was really it was kind of let me do my job, put my feet on the coffee table, and my client go get a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And I just thought we got to do better, because I know what these attackers are looking for. Just in talking, currently now we've got a certified ethical hacker on staff. We started up a cybersecurity training where we will take our IT service clients through that, and one of the gentlemen that heads that up is hacked over 100,000 machines. So
Wow.
yeah.
I think what you're doing, you have one of the most important jobs, probably. I would say definitely probably the most important job.
Yeah. Right. And today's
Going
age,
forward
yeah.
in today's age,
Because everything is digital.
everything is going digital.
And where it hit me was, my mom's got dementia, and I thought to myself, because IT service providers, they're always trying to one up. Usually it's, a result of price.
Right.
And so, if you're going to offer, if we have an IT service provider that's doing the right thing, and, they're doing 10 of the 10 security things, and somebody comes in and they're, $300 a month or less because they're only doing 6 out of the 10, I think to myself, okay, that's fine if they hack Tim Hortons or Starbucks or somebody and I can't get a cup of coffee. But my mom relies on medicine, because she has dementia and Alzheimer's. So
Oh, that's what's happening right now too. So the outage is affecting the healthcare system too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
then
that's
what
major.
standards are being followed? That's,
Yeah.
I think, what you'll find is that, there's a cry out there that, me as in insurance, I've got to get a license. I have standards that I have to follow. A doctor has to follow, certain, standards, whether it's the AMA or a dentist with the ADA guidelines, a lawyer with the bar. What does an IT service provider have to follow?
Yeah, that's true. So what do you see like coming in the near future as far as like the major pitfalls when it comes to, I mean, we have cryptocurrency now.
Yep.
We have, AI. We saw this whole thing with DeepSeek like not too long ago, how it just, shook up the whole AI market. What do you see where these types of tools are in people's hands, and what should we look for? Because, it's a double-edged sword, right? We have all this great technology, but what's happening is that it's a global market at this point, right? Everybody has all the information all at the same time, right?
Yeah, it's a good and bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a good and bad thing.
opinion.
And I always say that in the near future, everybody's going to know everything all at once at the same time because we have access to all the information. So it's just how you convey it and how you utilize it and all these tools gets ahead of the race.
Right.
But what are some of those pitfalls we can see in the near future when it comes to cybersecurity?
Yeah, I mean, I still think it comes down to human error. I mean, a lot of us that own businesses, are we going through security awareness training, right? To your point, if there is a, way out there to trick someone, what is the other side doing to prevent that? And that's where I see, on, Bitcoin, when you spoke about that, we have a lot of our cyber clients that are involved in Bitcoin.
Okay.
And when I ask people, why aren't they, more people into it? It's because there is no insurance out there if you get hit. So, me, if I go to the bank and I put my money in there and, the FDIC, I'll get $250,000 worth of coverage.
Right.
But as if somebody's involved in crypto and it's stolen, what's your recourse?
None.
So is it like with hackers, like with them having AI, does that make your job harder?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in the infancy stages, but the deep fakes have definitely played, a huge role in cybercrime claims as well as ransomware attacks. I don't think right now, we saw a little bit of a dip, but now we're starting to see, a spike again in terms of ransomware and cybercrime. Because I think, at least for us, our IT service providers, they really started getting nailed in 2020 and 21. So that was where a lot of these IT service providers have remote management software, where I don't know if you guys have an IT service provider, but if you have a problem with your computer, they can log in and take control of your computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the problem is they didn't. A lot of them did not have the right security in place, so the attackers were able to get in and take down 80 to 100 of their clients.
Right. So it's like kind of like a back door that's open, and they just walk right through.
You got it. And
So yeah. So
and
like,
I think those IT service providers are getting better.
Yeah.
But their clients aren't.
Yeah. That's very true. And I on a bigger scale, what I see as well is that I don't think when it comes to the U.S. infrastructure, I don't think we're as safe as we think we are. Because we've seen a lot of Chinese hackers come in, mess with our water systems, mess with our financial systems. I think we've been compromised on a lot of different levels. And it's kind of like a reactive type of situation to where we're just patching holes.
Yeah.
And
I think when you go back, when you look at how some of these attackers were able to access, it wasn't like super sophisticated.
Right.
It's pretty
So
basic.
explain to us, like, what is the simplest ways that people just screw up?
Yeah, I think,
What do we do to protect ourselves?
Yeah, lack of things like multi-factor, EDR, which is, antivirus on steroids.
What is EDR?
Endpoint detection response. So again, think of it as like antivirus on steroids.
Okay.
But a lot of people, it might cost a little bit more. So people don't want to invest in it. And that's where like I said, I would like to see either. I mean, I know with us, we're working on a professional standardization where we're trying to encourage that, if you follow these things, that if the government is going to do it, we got to try to do it.
Yeah.
Because there is no recourse for an IT service provider if they don't follow a standard. First of all, there really aren't standards out there. I mean, you have NIST and CMM, but if they don't follow it, what's the consequence?
Yeah. So we're still in the infancy stages as far as standardized, protocols,
You got it.
guardrails.
You got it.
And even with cryptocurrency, I see a lot of that too. Like, it's still so new to where they just passed the first crypto bill ever in federal law. So where you got the Genius Act for stablecoins. Yep. But there's so much more going into that, and it's still just a wild west right now. Like, we're trying to figure out what's legal, what's not, what's the regulatory framework for these currencies and whatnot. So I think that it's a great time if you're a creator, an innovator, and a developer. But at the same time, it's very scary for the consumer because they just don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, I think you have a large following. I mean, what do your people reach out to you about with cryptocurrency? Like, what are their concerns? What are their...
Just getting hacked because they hear crypto, right?
Yeah.
And if they don't know anything about the technology, they just get scared and just see headlines. Right. So when they're saying, oh, a crypto scam is, somebody got rugged here and they stole $150 million, that's all they're hearing, not understanding what was the process behind that, right? And that's why I do education, because before you spend $1, you have to have the education first.
I think Mavericks, that's huge. That's what I said. I think a lot of people don't take the time, for example, for you to listen to you. There are things that you can do. Will these exposures ever go away? No, they won't, right? But can we take something that's at 100% and make it 30%? Absolutely.
Yeah, there was a major hack, and that's the thing. I don't think anybody is safe when it comes to that, because even Apple, they just had to update their iOS systems because there was some malware going around to where if you got a picture, they can get right into your phone.
Yeah.
You don't have to even download anything.
Really?
Yes. So if you got a picture and you clicked on it, it goes right into your phone. They have everything.
That's why when I see messages and people text me, just like it just doesn't look like it's from them. Like I don't even open it.
Yeah,
I'm like scared to open text messages.
Yeah.
So going back,
I don't even like to preview them.
Going back to my comment earlier, would you much rather have that server in your office than the cloud?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, is a little inconvenience worth security?
Yeah. No, I would take that all day, because how advanced everything is getting with these hackers, to where I get why people are hiring them. So like, because they're getting so good to where you can send a picture and just get into your bank accounts, everything. And this was going around through iOS.
Yeah.
Like Apple is like super sophisticated when it comes to their security.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, update. And nobody was really talking about it either. I don't know if there was like mass panic they didn't want to cause, but
I mean, Apple, they throw their dollars at something.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And it disappears.
I posted on it.
You don't want to scare people.
And I found an article, and like it was kind of just lingering around, and it was going around on X, and I was like, hey, everybody, update your iOS now. And people were like, wait, what's going on? I was like, well, here's what's going on. If you get a picture through Telegram or all these other platforms, they're getting in, like people were getting their crypto wallets drained from these pictures.
Yeah.
So would they would click on the pictures, or
yes, they would send a picture, and
like through text or through these apps,
it was through a text, or if it's through Telegram, that was a big one, because like crypto Twitter is on on that platform, so they'll send a picture, and what will happen is they'll get a picture, and that picture is compromised. Whatever they put in there, they don't have to even get into anything else. Like you just click the picture, done. They have all your stuff.
That's crazy.
I had to fight to get a client covered for because they had a hardware. They put they had the in cold storage. It was supposed to be offline, safe, and so somebody had access because he had gotten. They said that there were there was malware and that they needed to update, and so he was down in Texas and he took the thumb drive, and they gave him a link, clicked on the link, inserted the thumb drive, and guess what happened? 3 Bitcoin gone.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah.
That's over 300 grand right there.
Yes.
That's almost 400 grand.
Yeah.
Jeez, there's horror stories like that all the time.
That's where, through education, to your point, if we go through and, are we properly updating and applying patches, right? Are we doing the security awareness training? Do we have the right, for me, example, when I go to the hotel, I've got my own VPN that I carry. How many people use the hotels? I mean,
now that you say that, I have to ask this.
Yeah.
Public Wi-Fi, is it as dangerous as they say it is? Because I hear it all the time, like don't connect to Starbucks Wi-Fi or don't connect to this Wi-Fi. Is it really that dangerous?
But how do you know it's legit? So if I put up and I say, hey, this is Starbucks in Henderson, Nevada Wi-Fi, how do you know any different?
You don't.
Oh, you're right. So
you
can name it anything. That's right.
Yeah.
You can name it anything.
Yeah, you can name it anything, because you could sit outside Starbucks, set up a Wi-Fi, name it that.
Okay, so walk me through it. So from the hacker standpoint,
Yeah.
when they make up a, let's say Starbucks Wi-Fi, when you log on as the person that's getting tricked,
Right.
What does the hacker see? They
got access
can just
to the
see
system.
everything. They can
got
see
access
everything
to the
on your
system.
device. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
crazy.
not,
Even me, I mean, how do you guys keep your passwords online?
Like, what do you mean? Like,
Where do you keep your passwords for like banks and social media and things like that?
so I use Face ID.
Okay.
So it's stored on there.
Okay.
But yeah, I use Face ID, two-factor.
In my bag, I brought it for $49. I have 70 of my passwords. With one password, it can't be hacked.
Really? How does that work?
I keep one in my office and I keep one in my house. I just have to remember one password, and when I get onto it,
Yeah.
Wait, so how does that work?
Yeah, break that
can I get
down.
up? You want me to see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's crazy. And
I'm
I
gonna
need
need
it.
that.
I need it like yesterday.
So all these passwords are locked inside a bigger password.
Here's my
see, I see.
VPN, and here's my password.
So that's a physical VPN.
Yep. I carry it with me everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jetpack.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is your VPN. And
The
this,
best $49 investment.
Okay. I'd never even heard of that.
Yeah.
So this right here. So how does this work?
I have one password to access it. Once I get in there,
Yeah.
it has all 70 of my passwords. Banks, credit card, email.
Oh, so you have to log on to that.
So this, if I'm staying at the hotel,
Yeah.
I log on to that. So it's my private network.
Yeah.
And then if I need to get access to a password, I keep it in there.
Keep it in
So
here.
how can that be hacked?
You can't.
Again, we're back to the break fix, the
Yeah.
server in your office.
Yeah.
Hardware.
Okay. Hardware.
You know?
That's genius. I need that. I never heard of that. And I'm a tech guy and I haven't even heard of that. So I need to get that ASAP.
Yeah. And it's not that expensive.
Okay.
But again, a lot of people, again, where Bitcoin's at, right? Why risk a small investment for
Yeah.
the exposure that could wipe you out?
That is
Yeah.
very true.
You
Yeah.
know?
And that's the thing. Like, even
But
with.
this is why you're doing great work. This is education for
Exactly.
your audience.
This is major. Even, for the crypto holders, definitely need this because, I have so many wallets.
And I would actually only use one device for crypto.
Just completely separate device.
Why not? What's the
true.
downside?
Yeah. I do tell people that, like, if you're dealing with anything with crypto, use a whole separate device.
Yeah.
Because you're doing so much on one device. Like, it could be compromised and then, you're done for.
And I tell you, with like our IT clients, there's been situations where they've been in the network for 4 to 6 months and they didn't know. All the technology that's running, they didn't know.
Wow.
So in the meantime, big problem where, the hackers will take and the legitimate emails that you guys are getting, you'll see anything to do with banking or anything that may be payments,
Yeah.
it's diverted to them. And on the back end, they're communicating with your clients and saying, hey, we recently changed our routing and account information. So instead of this, use that. And then no one bothers to pick up the phone and ask.
No, they don't.
I mean, do you guys ever text and say, is this really you, or did you really change your bank account?
That's true.
And that's what I said. These simple steps can lead to prevention.
Yeah.
Just no one wants to do them.
I've even seen it to where, going back to the deep fake stuff and the AI, so there was even a ransom paid by somebody who thought their child was kidnapped.
Oh, geez.
And they cloned their voice and saying, oh, I'm kidnapped. You got to send them some money now. And it sounds just like them. And they didn't even bother to check. They're just like freaking out.
Yeah.
And then come to find out that, right before they sent the money, they had to they got a text message from them and was like, hey, what time is dinner? They're like, wait a minute, I thought you were, what's going on? And then they find out, oh shit, that's a deep fake.
Right.
So that's been going on a lot to where people are getting got with the ransoms and, I'm kidnapped, send me some money, all kind of stuff is happening right now. It's wild. So yeah, that you got to have extra layers of security more than ever.
And I think, everyone's worried about AI and stuff, but I think, listen, when I was graduating, college, the internet was coming out and everyone's like, oh, it's going to take jobs. It's going to do all this stuff. And what it did, it spawned off a whole generation of other jobs.
Creating more jobs.
My point is when we have AI, we need AI police. Like, how do we know that's not a deep fake? Someone's going to have to develop something to make sure that that's there's a checks and balances.
Absolutely.
So there's a whole other industry. Out there.
New industry's born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the next 3 to 5 years, AI is gonna take or affect 85 million jobs.
Yeah.
But I always give people the good news is gonna create over 100 million new jobs.
Correct.
So those old jobs are going away, like where those old mundane jobs that we don't want to do anymore. Robots and AI are going to do that.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to sit up there and be a cash register and do all that stuff. But when it comes to prompt engineering, they're called AI whisperers. That pays $500,000 a year.
Right.
So that didn't exist some years back, you know, so that's a good thing, you know?
Right.
So I think that, again, learning these things now puts you ahead of the game, you know, light years ahead, because
Absolutely.
people were, like you said, people were afraid, but it's all in education. It's like, you know, preparation eliminates fear.
You got it.
You know,
Reskill.
that's
You know
our
what-
biggest thing is reskilling.
I think I've only read 3 books in my life outside of what I had to do for my industry or school, and one was Who Moved My Cheese. I don't know if you guys ever read that book.
No.
Oh, it's such an easy read. But essentially, it's, you know, you're going down a path, the cheese is there, you keep going down, and one day it's not there. So you may go down the next day, it's not there. But how many people are going to continue to go back and wait for the cheese to come back? It's not coming back.
Yeah.
Time to go down a new path.
Right.
If you're not willing to do it,
Yeah, you get
Very
left
true.
behind.
you know, I mean, even with my business, we're having to innovate. I mean, right now we've got cyber insurance carriers that are going and competing with my clients. So there's obviously a trust factor because they'll work with their vendors or they build out their own solution. You know, so what I found was that, you know, if they don't trust them, somebody's got to step up and do cybersecurity training.
For sure.
I'm an insurance guy that has to do cybersecurity training now.
Yeah.
So that's an example of how the cheese is going. I have to, you know, go down a different path to help out and, you know, make sure that my IT service providers and my people stay relevant.
Right. Are you guys going to cover digital assets like crypto and?
So yes, I mean, it's something that, you know, it's hard to convince the carriers to do it because of the unknown, you know, so that's where I think, you know, if you can get with the right partners, you know, and you can work on some of the things that we discussed, you know, user errors, right? Making sure that people are investing in the right technology, you know, and doing the right systems. And there's checks and balances in place. I think there's a solution out there. I mean, I'm currently talking in Lloyd's right now for a solution because I have so many people. Once they found out that I covered that one crypto event, all the people were coming at me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But the crypto, it's limited, right? I mean, I can't get somebody that has 3 or 4 or 5 Bitcoin. You know, I can't get a standalone product out there because the consumers aren't willing to do the right things when it comes to security in order to get the policy. They want to get the policy without doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I don't want to go to the gym and get 6-pack abs. It just doesn't work that way.
Right, right. And I think that going down the line further, like I think we'll start to see more of that with the coverage and whatnot, going into federal law, and then also these asset-backed cryptocurrencies that we're starting to see now, even with the U.S. Housing Department. They said they're counting cryptocurrency now towards your balance sheet is in getting a mortgage and whatnot. So
I love it because I think again, when you were talking about staring in the camera and change. I think we have to change because I mean, how many people carry cash anymore?
This is the new industrial revolution that's happening right now.
And the thing is, people are like, well, we're going to a digital system. I'm like, you guys, we're already in a digital system.
Yeah.
Like only 5% of physical cash is out there. Right. So everything else is ones and zeros. Think about it. We have Zelle, Cash App, all these things we've been using for years already, PayPal. Everything is digital already. It's just an upgraded version of that.
Yeah.
So like
it's
even
2.0.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now 3.0 going into Web 3. Yeah. So, but I want to get your thoughts on what's going on with. Speaking of security and AI, there's something that was just announced by Aaron Cohen. Are you familiar with him?
I am not. So
yeah. So Aaron Cohen, he is a former Israeli special forces. Okay. He specializes in counterterrorism. He just announced he's putting something out called Gideon, and it is an AI threat detection platform. So, and he put that out there to what just happened in Minnesota with the shooting and whatnot, right? And what's happening is that these mass shootings, a lot of them are leaving, video manifestos right now, and a lot of language is being, collected, and all that could be prevented if we kind of scour the internet, right? So he's saying this platform is going to scrape the internet, look for threat detections, whether it be, bombings, mass shootings, and collect that data, send it to law enforcement. Now,
I don't like it. I don't like it. Minority Report. I don't like it.
Exactly. So that sounds cool.
Yeah.
But they always put it in the movies. Sounds like Minority Report.
Right.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
Communist China. That's what I think.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Again, there has to be checks and balances. I think that to your point, I probably, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
I've been burned by that a couple times, right? And so I think it's the age old where, again, walk into things and you got to go through a trust but verify process.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think AI recently we saw that, all these companies have thrown major amounts of money. And what is it, 95% aren't seeing the rate of return.
So we're in an AI bubble.
I know.
So I just went to an AI conference called AI4.
Okay.
And there were so many companies there that was just, doing, you name it, real estate, sports, whatever, marketing. Like, this looks like the .com bubble.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we're going to hit a point to where, like you said, 95% of this stuff will not work.
Right.
And we have all these firms and all these VCs and private firms throwing tons and billions of dollars into these projects. So
it's going to dry up.
It's going to dry up. That's what I think.
I will.
Yeah. I agree. 100%.
I agree. So because, again, like we seen it in the early 2000s with the .com bubble and whatnot, and how even Mark Cuban sold broadcast.com.
Sold a hunk of junk.
A hunk of shit. They didn't do nothing. And he's like this genius, right?
Yeah.
But all he did was just put sports on a screen on your laptops or what even laptops back
He caught
then.
the wave.
Yeah, he caught the wave.
He caught the wave.
Yeah.
He
I'm
got
not mad
lucky.
at him.
I'm not mad at him.
Hey,
He got lucky.
He got away. He made off like a bandit.
Right. But again, there's going to be, the same amount of winners and losers in these situations, right? But where do you think, what do you think is going to happen after this AI bubble? Like, how bad is that going to be?
Yeah, I think that, the purse strings are going to tighten up, and I think that you just have a lot of people that are out there that are in it for the money and not necessarily to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I saw in my industry that drove me crazy, is that just everyone would take on 200 and 300 credit score clients, and our business model was always, Ford and Ferrari both have markets. I just prefer Ferrari,
Exactly.
And so I think that people are going to wise up real quick. And they're gonna. I mean, when you're talking people losing millions and millions and millions or billions of dollars, it's just not going to be that easy.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to happen real quick.
I think so too. I think it's going to even be bigger than the .com bubble, only because it's way more money being thrown into this.
It's being advertised as once in a generation.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that this bubble is going to be bigger than what anybody can anticipate. And what people don't realize too is with these VC firms, they're actually scams, because win or lose, whatever investment that they're taking on, guess who makes off like a bandit? All the managers.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They get paid regardless. They get fat salaries, right? They make $20, $30 million a year. Doesn't matter if their horse is winning or not. So I'm like,
most people aren't talking about that too.
They're not.
How the VC scams are like, they've been going on for years.
Yeah, because these managers are making a ton of money and they don't care. Oh, this looks good, and they're telling their investors, oh yeah, I think this might work.
We got to look at the success rate of these VC companies. What is the success rate?
I don't know.
It's probably pretty low.
That's
right?
a good question.
It's pretty low.
That's also, would you make that decision if that was your money on the line?
Good question.
That is a good question.
That's what I always ask. Because my staff will always tell me, "Oh, that's a great idea. Let's throw money at it." And I say, "Well, if it was your money, would you do it?" And
Probably
they say,
not.
They think twice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always good when
when it's somebody else's
OPM, other people's money.
You got it.
So I think people have to kind of second guess that, and I think that again with how fast technology is moving, we've seen it again going back to DeepSeek to where they allegedly spent only $6 million building that. Mm-hmm. And it kind of disrupted Project Stargate with Trump rolling out Project Stargate with the AI initiative and this whole big old grand thing. And they're like, oh, here's DeepSeek, took, a fifth of the money or 1/10 of the money and completely disrupted everything. Right. So how fast everything's moving, it's like, well, how far does it go until, these big projects really don't matter anymore? We can catch up, from coding something in our bedroom.
Right.
So I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens to this AI bubble as well.
I mean, fasten your seatbelt, right?
Yeah, exactly. So how did you get with Lloyds of London? Like, how did you connect with them?
Yeah, so I've always, wanted to be the product and not rep a product.
Right. Well, for the people who don't know,
Absolutely.
What is Lloyds of London?
Okay, Lloyds of London is the world's largest. Most people think, well, let me ask you, is Lloyds of London an insurance company?
Lloyds of London?
Yes. Have you heard of it?
I would say, I'd known him as insurance.
Well, but most people, because I'll get your take. How when you think of Lloyds, what do you think? I'll tell you what most people think of it.
Lloyds?
Yep, Lloyds of London.
I say the insurance, banking.
Yeah, I mean that's good. A lot of people will say, "Oh, the senior quarterback wants to come back to college and he's going to insure his arm for $5 million." So, because Lloyds is the world's insurance, the largest insurance marketplace in the world. So most people, again, when you say Lloyds, they think, "Oh, it's a company." It'd be like if I talked to you guys and said, "Hey, I invest in the S&P 500." You might ask me what stock.
Yeah, it's all.
Is it AT&T? Is it Verizon?
Right.
Lloyd's is made up of about 80 syndicates or 80 stocks.
Gotcha.
So they report to Lloyd's as kind of the master, company that looks over it. But there are 77 syndicates. So we basically, again, back in probably 2011, when I saw to myself, I don't think these things are being properly underwritten. In 2015, I had met with somebody that gave me the ability to do risk engineering. So taking our clients through, a process where, hey, do you have these things in place? If you do, show us. So we, when I contacted Lloyd's, I said, hey, I'm interested in being my own underwriter for one of the syndicates there. Okay. So you have to set up your underwriting team versus their underwriting team. So we went at it, and luckily for 4 years in a row, we beat them by 20%. Wow. So they said, hey, listen, you do this better than we do. So guess what? You can issue the policy, you can underwrite the policy, you can do the endorsements, you can collect the premium. We're basically an insurance company. I just don't have 20 or 30 million to get an S&P rating, so we write it on Lloyd's paper. The other thing that Lloyd's helps us out with is, if we need access to their vendors. So the nice thing about it is that, when you are your own insurance company, is that you can put together solution offerings that make sense to your clients. If you guys were to go to a normal agent or agency that does your home or your business insurance and say, hey, I'd like to look at doing X. They're going to go and call the underwriter at a particular insurance company, and the underwriter's going to say, yeah, we don't want to do that. Lloyd's, if we make a business case, they say, hey, listen, that makes sense. Then we're able to, to put that into effect.
Got you.
Which is one of the things where I think, tying it back to crypto, I think that there's a huge market out there.
Massive.
To bring more people in to the crypto space by providing them reinsurance, i.e. insurance policy.
That's the biggest part right there. Besides the education is the insurance. Like, how do I protect myself once I get these digital assets?
And that's where I need your guys' help, right? I mean, we need to set up some standards from these, people that are going to get involved in crypto.
Yeah, we're working on some stuff actually. We definitely got to talk because there's a lot of things. Because I know you do risk management and all this other stuff. But adding that value of safeguards and those safe rails to where people can feel comfortable once they have the information, because after they have the information, then they can actually actively put their funds into stuff, right? So then they're like, okay, well, because that's the biggest second question I get besides the education part, like how does it work? How am I safe?
Yeah.
That's one of the big things.
It's the money, you're right? Like people are more worried about their money than their health.
That's why I was asking, how do we stay safe? And speaking of that, you have kids?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a 4-year-old daughter.
Congrats.
How do you protect them from, these shows? Like they go on these tablets and they play these games, and do you set any guardrails for your kids, or how do you protect them from predators?
We do. My son's now 19.
Oh, okay.
So he's a little bit older, right? There we go. But now that he's a man, right, he knows that there's consequences.
Yeah.
When he was younger, it was like, we would put some guardrails up, and then as he earned our trust, we would give, loosen the rope a little, So I always figured, while he was under my supervision, that if he's going to hang himself, it's better that I'm holding the rope.
Yeah.
Again, there's just so much out there. My son went to a high school where, one of the kids committed suicide because he got tricked on that horrible thing where, somebody had said on Instagram, take a picture of a private part. That whole trick, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just there's just some nasty people out there, right?
Yeah.
And so again, that's where we go, and I guess whether it's your kid or whether it's companies, is talking to them about First of all, I think we need more of a centralized location where we can access this, because everyone's got to piecemeal it and go put it all together, and then we're back to is the site that I'm referencing even legit?
Yeah.
So we need a trusted source, for those type of things. Or going back to crypto, where everyone can get that, and we don't have to go around and search 19 different spots to find out this is what I should be doing. And again, is that information even correct?
Yeah, because there's even something, speaking of that too. Something just happened. Some parents are trying to sue OpenAI, ChatGPT.
I saw that.
To where
I saw.
The kid killed himself because ChatGPT assisted with him in that process. Like, how do I do this?
Right.
And he, unalived himself. And then what happened is now the parents are pissed. Now they're going after the company because they're saying, hey, why did AI even tell my kid to even do this and how to assist? Like, that's crazy.
Goes back to guardrails.
Exactly.
They need to put, it can't be the Wild West out there.
No, and that's what it is right now. Yeah. And it's very scary. So I think, again, coming down to education is the biggest part.
Big one.
And then having that security, infrastructure after that. Those are the main two things. Before you do anything, learn about it first. And people are so, eager to jump into something because it's a hot new thing, or they're trying to make money, or whatever the case may be.
Usually if you provide the education and people follow the education, the solution follows.
Exactly.
The problem is when you have too many uninformed buyers, who's going to, protect that uninformed buyer, because things are going to go sideways.
Yeah.
They just are.
And I've even had somebody, and that's the thing, they know I do crypto education, and they listened to somebody else, and they were transferring some money from one wallet to another. And what people don't know is if you send the wrong coin on the different networks, like if I'm sending Binance to Solana, it can get lost. And a lot of people don't know that. They're thinking that, I just send USDC, but USDC is on multiple networks. And what happened is they sent it to the wrong wallet, lost about $6,000.
Right.
And then they came back and they was like, hey, how do I find it? I'm like, education first.
I mean, and luckily it was only $6,000. I mean, you're doing great work, because, we had, and it wasn't Bitcoin, but I had a company where the owner sold. And again, he was wiring money to what he thought was the bank account of the new owner. However, where this is going, somebody had gotten a hold of the email because they didn't have the proper security in place. $4 million.
$4 million to an account or to a crypto account?
No, not to a crypto. Yeah, it wasn't
a
crypto,
regular
but
account.
still, it was to a regular account with no recourse.
Yeah, that's it. That's done.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Is I don't think people know. I mean, right now, write a check for $100,000. Separate yourself from $100,000. How does it feel? I mean, it's not good.
Damn.
And that's why I said, we need a bunch of us to get together and work on the education aspect, because again, if we provide the education, a solution will come.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I have another question. Yeah. Top 3 online scams, and how do you avoid them?
Oh, geez. I mean,
what's some of the what's the most common things that you see that just people just keep falling for, and how do we avoid it? Like, how do we nip it in the bud?
Yeah, I think that the number one thing is and I wouldn't say it's more online via email, is that, hey, I've changed something and I need you to do things, whether it's wire money under a new process or to a new account. And so many people take that as gospel, right? So they don't check, and then, all of a sudden, they wire money to someone they shouldn't have.
So human error. So human error.
Yeah, it comes down to human error. I mean, I was in the bank, and, there's still people getting tricked. It was an older woman with a younger guy and sending money. So, I think that, my parents are both 78. The elderly population isn't being informed, and people are taking advantage of that. So I think that, it's a problem out there, but, we're not going to eliminate the risk, but we can reduce the risk, through education, training, things like that.
That's a big target, the older population. There was a lady not too long ago who thought she was talking to Brad Pitt. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it was like AI generated like versions of Brad Pitt, and they had him in the hospital, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in the hospital. Send me some money." So this went on over time. She sent millions of dollars to him
Without seeing him.
without seeing
Obviously.
him, but she thought she was talking to him because it was like AI generated, right? And it wasn't even good AI too. It was like you look at that, you're like, that's not Brad Pitt. But she's older. She's thinking she's talking to Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And even younger, how many people do you see fall for the crypto, the get rich schemes?
All the time.
I'm shocked. I mean, it's just, again, I'm 50, and it's the age old our parents told us if it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
It is.
And
Absolutely.
I blame social media because these kids are seeing everything on TikTok and Instagram, and they're seeing this lifestyle constantly, thinking that they could obtain it, and they want the fast track to it, and they get scammed.
Fantastic point.
Yeah.
I was involved. I put together a soccer team as a nonprofit for first generation Hispanic and African kids. When I would talk to them about whether they wanted to go to college or not, a majority of them didn't want to because they said, "Oh, I see this guy on TikTok, and in 6 months he can create a real estate wholesale company that does X." So I would tell them, you're seeing one out of the 10 million.
Right.
Why aren't you interviewing the other 9.9999 million that tried and it didn't work? So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Is that, for me in my business, it took me about 18 years to be an overnight success. And I would say there are a lot of people that are in my shoes, and there are very few people that caught that wave, and in 2 or 3 years, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
If it was that easy, we'd all be doing it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's it. That's the main thing. And again, I think that that's why I'm building. I'm actually building a creator studio out here, and I'm going to be doing workshops and seminars solely on education when it comes to AI, crypto, all these new technologies, because people are getting taken advantage of left and right. I've seen
Who's the audience?
everybody, because young and old.
Yeah.
I've talked to people even younger than me who know nothing about AI, nothing about crypto, and they're just using it for very surface level stuff.
Right.
But understanding the technology of it and the pitfalls, the victories in it, everything.
So do you feel like a lot of people get involved with crypto without knowing the consequences?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because they see people, throw,
Get rich easy.
Yeah, get rich quick.
Yeah.
They throw $20 in something and they make $100,000, not knowing that 100 other people just lost all their money, or 1,000 other people lost their money, and then maybe that one person showing their screenshot.
Maybe you guys should do a podcast of lining up 10 or 12 people that didn't have that success,
for
so
sure.
the audience can see the other side of it.
I know a ton of people who lost money.
I can contribute a bunch of people as well.
Yeah,
Definitely.
No, that for sure. So that's the main thing. So in that studio, I'm going to be holding education, programs and whatnot, because that's the biggest thing. Like, what you don't know can hurt you.
I think it's great, and I think also the other audience that needs to pay that are people that don't come from the best upbringings, economic upbringings, right? Because again, a lot of them will, having my nonprofit, I learned it. A lot of them will fall victim to the get rich quick schemes.
For sure. Yeah.
And the little bit of money that they do have, take it in one direction, and it just doesn't work out.
Exactly. Man, it's been great. It's been amazing. Thank you for all the knowledge, man. Where can they find you, and about your company? How can they get in touch with you? All that stuff.
And what's the number one product that they should have from you?
Yeah, I think
right now, what's the one?
Yeah, well, I mean, number 2 hopefully is our crypto solution that'll be coming, right?
Yeah.
But,
Nice.
But yeah, the number one, I mean, again, for me, a lot of my clients are businesses, making sure that, they've got the right cyber liability insurance. Because again, as we talked about, if things do go sideways, you want a funding mechanism that will get you to the point you were at before the time of the loss.
Yeah.
I think individuals out there, if there are things like, identity theft, and there's stuff that you can pick up, it's, you can do things, you can educate people, you can follow, but you can't control that you haven't slept for 2 nights because maybe you got a 4-year-old that's sick and you actually click on a button you shouldn't have. So making sure that you have a funding mechanism that will bring you back to the point you were before the time of the loss.
Yeah, for sure. So Techrug.
Yes, we've got a website, www.techrug.com. We're on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. So
All Techrug.
Yeah, all Techrug.
Okay.
Nice. Awesome.
So-
well, thank you for
I
stopping
appreciate
by.
you
We
guys
gotta do this
having me.
again. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I always like nerding out on this stuff.
Definitely.
I'm getting that.
Got
I'm
it.
telling you,
I
right
need
here,
this.
the best.
Yeah.
It might be $45 now with all the tariffs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But the best $45.
I'm getting that, and it's called Jetpack.
Yeah, I mean this is actually through Verizon, and This one, I mean, you can get on Amazon. I'm sure they got a ton of them.
Okay, and what is that called?
But this one is actually what? It's Rec Zone Password Safe.
Okay.
Okay. Try to hack this.
Okay, you can't. No, for sure. So this has been Maverick Approach, you guys. Thank you. Go to maverickapproach.com. Also join Break the Matrix at school.com. Break the Matrix. That is my community where we talk about AI, crypto, sovereignty, health, everything I talk about on my page. All that is my community, and we also do weekly calls, so make sure you jump in there. So thank you again, and make sure you guys question everything because nothing is what it seems. Peace.